Today marks the start of making a dream come true. We have long had a tradition at Manual of the world of building boats. There were 9 in total, and this story started with a horrible little origami boat made out of cardboard, which I built at my dad's house about 13 years ago. And it sank horribly. It was actually a good thing that happened, because it kind of hurt my pride. So at the next time we made another paper boat, but this time a cardboard boat with 4 people in it, and once again things went wrong. We built a stand-up paddleboard made out of plastic bottles, which later got a drill motor attached to it. I traveled to the United States and returned not with a new phone, but with a suitcase full of duct tape to build a canoe. And then we made a foldable wooden boat to put on top of the car. In 2018, the project was a bike boat, a pedal boat with a bicycle on a polyvinyl chloride raft, because we thought the name was ugly. And it was in that video that I promised the next boat would be a submarine. That's right, you heard it, a submarine. From then on, you probably remember the story. It took 4 years to build the submarine before it sailed in parody. But we did not stop there. There was a boat we built with Guy Toledo using bamboo, and that stretch film you wrap around vegetables. And our last boat was a sailboat made from an inflatable mattress, which turned out really cool. We built the sail and everything, but it failed miserably. It could only sail with the wind, and even then, very slowly. And despite all that, all these really cool projects we used to always post in the first video of the year, I have a disappointment. None of those boats, nothing we built, was actually meant to really sail. They were made from various materials and built with improvised, highly creative, handmade engineering. But I have to confess to you that I have always wanted to build a boat, a real sailboat, one that could really sail, that could catch the wind and just go away with it. And this, I want it to be the boat that will mark the first video of 2026. A real sailboat that really sails without any flaws. Stop. I was watching this video and realized the challenge was a bit too easy, so I am going to double the bet. The goal is not just to build a sailboat that sails. It is more than that. And then spend 24 hours inside it, 24 hours with it in the water without getting out. So here is the deal. I thought a lot about it, and I felt that this time it was important for us to get some outside help, so I started studying how it works. People actually build boats at home for real. I went to a museum in Portugal and took several pictures of a very simple little boat there, which I thought I was capable of making. And I looked in Brazil to see if there was anyone who sold a boat project. A boat design that we could make here at Manual of the World. So let us get started. In this video, I'm going to build a miniature of this canoe, not just to make it look nice, but the idea is that we can learn a little bit. We already have the miniature. What is the boat like? It will also guide our future build. I thought about using medium density fiberboard, but besides looking ugly, it would be too thick, way out of proportion to the size of the boat. I am going to use a 1:10 scale, so it has to be a very thin piece of wood. We bought these thin wooden sheets here that are used for covering, and I have already glued one sheet to another. It is like plywood, right? So the grain goes in one direction, and the other grain goes in the other direction, right? This one is vertical, but the idea is to cut the pieces here, which we will assemble later with the laser and build our miniature. These little pieces I am cutting will be the plywood sheets that will form the hull of the boat. Everything is already drawn in the project I bought. We just adapted the size for laser cutting. Every meter on the real boat will be 10 centimeters. Here, the water section uses just 5 curved pieces that, when assembled, already begin to form a canoe. First, I will use masking tape to secure everything and form the curves. After that, I will use a bit of super glue with baking soda to start locking everything in place. And then the last step will be epoxy glue, which is pretty much the same material I will use on the boat. Honestly, it is a slower curing glue, but it hardens and supports the hull structurally. Now I just need to take off the tape. Come on, tell me, is this not going to be the most beautiful boat we have ever made? This is our boat's base. We could sail with this already. From now on, I will add pieces to make the boat stronger, as it is still quite weak. It is still flimsy, and some parts, like the rudder, have more specific functions. I will start by installing these 2 triangles, which are covers. The first one goes on the bow, which is the front part of the boat, and the other goes on the stern, the back part. The purpose of these covers is to create a watertight compartment, to make a kind of float, so the boat will never sink. Even if it turns upside down and fills with water inside, it will not sink at all. Next, There are two benches, a shorter one by the stern and another in the middle of the boat, which also acts as a structural brace. That is why I have to put this reinforcement underneath it. These are the mast supports. I'm going to glue one down below to hold the base of the mast, and the other one goes up here at the bow. This larger piece goes much higher. To strengthen this slightly unsteady edge, two strips will be added, one outside along the boat and another inside. I am having a bit of trouble aligning and gluing this one at the same time because the glue dries very quickly. A very similar reinforcement goes underneath the boat. It serves to improve the structure of the boat, but also as a kind of keel, a guide for it to navigate in the water. The top part is practically ready. And one impressive thing here is that the boat has gained an incredible structure. It is extremely strong. It is no longer flexible. You cannot twist the structure anymore. It is made of very thin wood, about 1 millimeter thick. We hope the real boat will be just as strong. We still have accessories to install. But, Iber, you are making me confused. Every time you are wearing a different shirt, this is like a fashion show. It is just that I am recording over several different days, so each day I am wearing a different shirt. What are you going to do? These two triangles will be used as reinforcement at the stern and at the bow. At the back at the stern, there is a kind of fin called a skeg. It is kind of tricky to attach because it goes straight up vertically, and that is where the rudder is attached. I am going to improvise here with some clips and stuff. In real life, it is a bit more complicated than that. I do not know about you, but I really dislike this boat's color. It is far too light. That is a real-life problem since the boat will be plywood, typically made from light-colored wood. I am going to try using a varnish here called shellac. It is diluted in alcohol, and this varnish comes in flakes. Jansen commented that it looks like a mix of fish food and cockroach wings. Yes, one of the nicknames for this varnish is actually cockroach wing. I am already letting you know that this varnish is not for boats. This varnish is usually used on guitars, on violins, but the advantage is that it dries very quickly and gives this slightly yellowish finish. It helps to cover up that white wood we were seeing. All on the outside, I want to paint it. So first I will use a green paint. The idea is for it to be a really strong forest green, but not on the whole hull, just on this top edge. I will paint it white. Do not worry, the border between the two will not look as bad as it does now. No, because a parallel reinforcement will be added above, improving the look and hiding the border between the two paints. If it were a rowboat, we would already have a nice canoe here, but it is a sailboat, so let us install the engines of the little guy, the mast. It is going to be several rods glued together. It already fits in the prepared hole, and I was already forgetting about the center boards, which are these pieces here that look like a paddle, but they are used so the boat does not drift sideways, which was one of the big problems we had when we made that little inflatable mattress boat. Look at the sail, how beautiful it is. I am going to try to be as faithful as possible to the ropes that will actually be on the boat. Also, I want to understand how complicated this really is. This sail is held by two poles. The one on top we call the yard, and the one on the bottom is the boom. I kind of have to sew the sail around them. This rope that pulls the sail up is called the halyard. And here it is, exactly the way it is going to be. And there is another one that is used for adjustment. It is used for when we want to pull the sail closer to the boat or when we want to let it out a little farther. And this one will be our boat to start 2026. Hey everyone at Manual of the World. I built the miniature. Annie and Lucas, who will help build the boat, are asking if it will be easy to build. The miniature is not just for appearance. It helps us understand the boat, test if it works, and identify future problems. Right away I see two problems here. The first is that I did not use fiber here, and the fiberglass, which we use to make the submarine and other projects. We have experience with it, which, while it is good, we know gives us a ton of work. It is not even close to the amount of work I had when making the miniature. And the second thing I am afraid of is getting the sail right, because on the boat we made out of an inflatable mattress. It was terrible. It would not move at all. It was a really bad boat to navigate. And my expectation with this one is the opposite, that it sails well. But I have no idea if we are going to make it. I do not know if you noticed, but we are already at the end of the year. The boat will be 2026's first video, and we have not done absolutely anything yet, except for this model. which turned out beautiful. But anyway, the real challenge is going to be racing against time. It burst. Look, only the outer shell is left. You will have to remove all the tape and do it again.